A girl frantically scribbles a string of numbers on white paper. 50 years later, when the paper is opened, it accurately predicts the time, location, and death toll of disasters that occurred 50 years later. In 1959, William Dawes Elementary School was holding its anniversary celebration. Students were drawing their visions of the future to be placed in a time capsule and buried underground. However, Lucinda wasn't drawing at all. Instead, she was frantically writing numbers on her paper. When the teacher forcibly took her drawing paper away in response to the girl's behavior, Lucinda suddenly showed an expression of terror. During the ceremony, Lucinda suddenly disappeared. Teachers and police searched everywhere and finally found her in the school's basement. However, the girl's hands were covered in blood, and she had written the remaining numbers on the door panel, repeatedly saying, "Make it stop." Time fast-forwarded 50 years. William Dawes Elementary School was celebrating its anniversary again, and the buried time capsule was opened. Everyone received a drawing, but only Caleb got the paper filled with numbers. Caleb returned home, hoping his father John could decipher these numbers. John thought it was a prank, but when he carefully studied the numbers, he suddenly discovered an astonishing pattern. The first few numbers on the paper were 9/11, corresponding to the date of the September 11th attacks. The following 2,996 corresponded to the death toll from that event. He used his computer to look up the remaining numbers and discovered that each group of numbers corresponded to a major disaster. 3 groups of numbers on the paper had yet to occur. The first group indicated that tomorrow there would be a disaster with 81 deaths. He couldn't sleep all night, sitting in front of the television waiting for news reports, but nothing happened. He thought it was just a coincidence. However, the next day, when John was on his way to pick up his son from school, he encountered severe traffic congestion. He inadvertently noticed that the coordinates displayed on his GPS exactly matched one of the number groups on the paper. An ominous feeling washed over him, and John quickly got out of his car to check the situation ahead. Suddenly, an airliner plummeted from the sky, crashing toward the ground at high speed. John watched the plane crash right in front of him. He risked his life to rush forward and rescue survivors, but the continuous explosions made his efforts futile. That evening's news report confirmed the prophecy. The air disaster's death toll was exactly 81 people, matching the prediction on the paper precisely. John found Lucinda's daughter Diana, hoping to learn the secret of the prophecy from her. However, Diana avoided discussing her mother's affairs because Lucinda had once predicted that she would die in an accident on a certain day. They went to the cottage where Lucinda had lived, and the walls were covered with newspaper clippings of various disasters and accidents. They found no useful information. The last group of numbers on the paper consisted of 2 threes. Through Diana's explanation, they learned that Lucinda often wrote the letter E upside down as 3. Just as they were about to leave, John lifted the floorboards and discovered even more numbers written underneath. EE stood for everyone else, meaning everyone else would die.